Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today we've got the reveal for the Age of Sigmar Warhammer Battlebox. So this is once again two armies clashing together. We can assume that it's going to be right in line with the prices we've seen recently, which is $170 USD. So basically the equivalent of like two kind of like start collecting boxes combined. So let's take a look. So we have obviously our Fyreslayer dwarves, and we have our what are they called? The Deep Kin? Oh man, I can't even think of their names. I'll tell you in a minute. That's right, yet another ancient animosity reaches boiling point as bald heads meet long beards in Fury of the Deep, the next battle box to rock the mortal realms. So it's called Fury of the Deep, and it's the Idoneth Deep Kin, which are like water elves, underwater elves. The soul-hunting Idoneth Deepkin are escalating their raids on the coastal Fyreslayers stronghold of Riftmar. As the acidic tides rise, so too does the intensity of the marauding Akhelian Thrallmaster, a new Idoneth character. So this is our Akhelian Thrallmaster, the new character. So he's got like a pretty crazy looking like halberd spear thingy. Some kind of like double swords, a little dagger on his back, little eel pet. Overall, pretty cool model. Definitely like the detail. I like the kind of like tattooed, kind of sculpted in look, so it makes it nice and easy for painting. The Thrall Master shifts stances to effortlessly counter whichever opponent he faces, instructing his Namarti followers to follow suit. Standing against him is an Auric Flamekeeper, a Fyreslayer warrior priest who presides over the lodge's funerary rites. Okay. So this is our Auric Flamekeeper. I'm pretty sure... Man, is this a new model? This might be a new model, but there used to be a Flamekeeper. This seems vaguely familiar to me. I'm not 100% sure. So we know that the Idoneth character is a new, unique model. This one, I'm not sure if this is a new sculpt of an old model, or a completely new model, or just an old model. I'm honestly not sure. I do not know enough about the Fyreslayers, nor did I do adequate research. But overall, pretty cool model as well. I feel like I might have seen a helmet or head variant for this. But I'm not sure. So he says, armed with a brazier axe, the solemn Flamekeepers are responsible for removing the Urgold runes of fallen warriors. They can harness the power of lifeless ruins to bestow blessings upon their fellow Duradin, all the while bellowing litanies from beneath their grim death masks. These two mighty heroes will decide the fate of Riftmar at the head of two forces comprising a total of 43 miniatures. So 43 miniatures, that is a nice size box. The initial video that they showed off does not show off adequately the contents of the box. It looked like there was much less in it. But upon further inspection, we see there are basically 10 Idoneth archers. There are like 10 of the Idoneth melee bros, or bro ladies. There is the character. And then there is one of these like shark creature little, I don't even know what it is, you know, vehicle or whatever, construct creature riders. It's like two dudes with like a heavy weapon riding a shark. And then we have also the dwarves. So we have the character right there, and then we have 10 of just like the regular Fyreslayers, and then we have 10 of these bros as well. But they can be built two different ways. So you have like, you can build, in this case, 5 of them have like these crazy like mace weapon deals, and then the other 5 are built the other way, which I'm not sure exactly what that is, nor can I tell from the pictures, but I know it's the same kit that builds two different variants. So the Auric Flamekeeper is joined by 5 Auric Hearthguard and 5 Hearthguard Berzerkers. 10 models in total who can be built either way, as well as 10 Vulkite Berzerkers. So the Auric Hearthguard and the Hearthguard Berzerkers are the ones I was discussing. So you can build 10 of one, or 10 of the other, or 5 of each. And then the Vulkite Berzerkers are like your traditional, like Dwarven, axe bros. And then you have like the option for a character that leads the unit, and then like musician, etc. So against them is an Idoneth raiding party consisting of 10 Namarti Thralls, 10 Namarti Reavers, and a bloodthirsty Akhelian Allopex. So again, we have 10 of their archers. We have 10 of like the great sword or double-handed like sword bros and bro ladies. And then we have the actual character. And then of course we have the Akhellian Allopex, which is the weird shark creature thing. You'll also get a 40-page booklet containing all the background on the war over Riftmar, rules for the new Akhelian region of war called the Verilous Reach, and 3 battle plans covering the events of the raids. So your basic little book that comes with it, with rules for like the new stuff, and then obviously like some missions and background, etc. Usually pretty cool. There are War Scroll cards for the miniatures in the box, as well as tokens, so you can keep track of your command points and various rules. You'll be able to start playing right out of the box with 56-page version of the core book. Okay, so that's actually something different, which could be cool. If it comes with a 56-page version of the core book, I wonder if that is the same core book that comes with like the Age of Sigmar like starter sets, because each of the smaller starter sets, like obviously Dominion had like the hardcore full rulebook, but each of the smaller starter sets has a small version rulebook in it. Small in both physical size, as like it's half the like dimensions of a rulebook, but also it's like just condensed rules, but everything you need to play. So I'm curious if that is what this book is all about as well. But yeah, it comes with your War Scroll cards, including the new stuff, because some of these units are new, so that is definitely cool. And Fear of the Deep is due in early 2022. There's more news about salty sea elves and sizzling Duradin coming. So it's safe to assume probably that we will be seeing their battle tomes down the road. So I think we can expect probably new battle tomes for the Fyreslayer dwarves and the sea elves as well. So value-wise in this box, I want to say your dwarf kits are probably somewhere around $40 to $50 each. So you have 2 of those. Let's just say 45 right smack in the middle. So we're looking at about $90 plus a like $30 character. So about $120 worth of dwarves. And then for the sea elves, again, I think we're looking at probably around like 40 to 50, probably on the high end for the elves. So again, let's say 45 for the 2 10-man units, so 90 total, plus a $30 character roughly. Try to like undercut the prices on some of these things too, so it's probably a better value than I'm stating. But that is again about 120. Plus we have the sea creature thing, which is probably somewhere around like another 30 or so. So you're actually getting a better deal with the elves. Probably somewhere around, let's say, $150 worth of elves in the set, and about $120 worth of dwarves. So again, about a $270 value, roughly, for what we can assume is going to be $170. So pretty good deal overall. Save about $100. I think you're getting a better deal if you're like splitting this with someone and you're taking the elves. But for some reason, I think, yeah, I want to say that's a pretty safe assumption, that you're getting a better deal with the elves. But overall, nice box. I thought the initial video that I saw sort of short played it, because you can't really tell what all comes in it. It looked closer to about like 23 models, because you can only really see like 10 infantry for each of the armies, and then the character, and then like the weird little shark creature. So overall, the video did not do the best job portraying what comes inside. But now that we see everything on the community site and everything, I would have to say looks like a nice value. Again, especially as we see Sigmar transitioning into the new boxes, which the new box did come out for the Maggotkin, and it was slightly less. As we discussed, like the 40k boxes are 140, the Maggot King box, and we can assume that our Sigmar boxes in the future are 125. So again, as we sort of see these new boxes like transitioning, going up to like that 125 price point, as opposed to like the previous boxes, which were anywhere from like 85 to 95 for Sigmar. Basically two of those boxes combined, the previous boxes would give us about $190 price and better value than that. So these coming in at 170, and having an equal or more amount of models, I think is a pretty good deal. Like for instance, let's see, I want to say the Sea Elf one is like 10 troopers. It has like 3 of the little like smaller cavalry creatures, and then 1 character. And then the dwarf box is 10 of the same berserkers that come in this set. The big lava dragon, and then a character. So, but that dwarf box is a really good deal because the lava dragon alone is like the same price as the box. So you basically get the character and the other 10 dwarves for free. So it's definitely a weird situation there. And there are a couple of boxes like that for Sigmar, where a single model out of the box costs like the same price as the entire start collecting. So those deals are likely to go to the wayside in the future, as the price like increases on the like individual large models have gone up, but the actual start collecting boxes have not. So as we sort of see probably now, these dwarves and potentially the Idoneth start collecting boxes may get phased out as well. We'll have to see. That's still a speculation, but I think it's safe to assume as they start to like redo these different ranges and the new battle tomes come out, we can sort of assume that we're going to get like the new what were they called, the Vanguard boxes. That might not be right. But for Sigmar, like we did for the Maggotkin. So again, I'm just assuming. Games Workshop is fairly predictable in general. There is a possibility this will come out and it will be 195 and not 170. So maybe it won't be as good as a deal as it looks right here. But overall, it looks like a pretty nice deal. If it does come out at 170 and get about 15% off, you're looking at somewhere around like 145 or 150. So for new players at 150, let's say, I think $75 a player, you're getting a pretty nice set. 20 plus models is always nice, I think, for about 75 bucks. That's my opinion, but I'm sure you could go out and buy a 3D printer and print out a bunch of models for less, by the time you add it all up and everything. But let's be real. I mean, the quality, the sculpts, everything about these models is phenomenal. Not to mention that by supporting Games Workshop and the actual game and everything, this is really how we onboard new players. Most people find out about the hobby and get into the hobby through basically Games Workshop, 40K or Fantasy, or like Dungeons and Dragons, and oftentimes combination of the two. But the truth is, Warhammer is where it's at. They have the highest quality models, the best sculpts, and overall, best lore, and arguably over time the game. There's definitely some fluctuations in the quality of gameplay or balance, but I love Warhammer forever. I've loved, I played Space Crusade back in the day, then Space Hulk, fantasy battles, all that stuff, Necromunda, and then obviously have gotten into Kill Team, Warcry, and the transition into Sigmar and everything. So, you really can't beat the games. They just have like their balance issues. We definitely get like some creep going on with like rules and new books coming out and everything. But the truth is, as long as they find like that sweet spot with 9th edition 40K and 3rd edition Sigmar, as long as we get adequate time from when like the final codex comes out or final battle tome respectively, and the amount of time that edition is still valid for, I think we'll see a lot less pushback from the community. Because yeah, it sucks when the new edition comes out and you don't get your battle tome or codex right away, so you're underpowered forever. But then if you're like the more you wait, the longer you wait for, the more powerful your stuff is by the time it comes out. It's just unfortunate when, like for instance, the Sisters of Battle for 40K, it was very unfortunate that by the time you finally got your new codex for 8th edition, 9th edition came out like a couple months later. So it's like, oh really? So we waited till last, finally got a codex, and then it was like immediately invalidated. So definitely sucks. Definitely happens. I would much rather see like some sort of predefined period that an edition is going to go for, or I would like to see if an edition is going to last roughly 5 years. I would like to see all the books out within like a 2-year period, or 3-year period or something like that, so that you have at least a couple years to play with. Let me know what your opinion is. Let me know what you would do differently to balance stuff. Maybe have, you know, more regular digital like updates or errata or FAQ or whatever. I think they're pretty good about it. But again, I'm also like a, you know, almost 20, 30-year veteran player of these games. So I know what it was like back in the day with Warhammer. And there wasn't a bunch of great miniatures from other companies in Games Workshop. There wasn't a bunch of great games. There was no such thing as 3D printers. And most of the alternative models and sculpts were absolutely terrible from competitors. There was literally months, for some games, sometimes years, from when you got one update or errata or FAQ to any other releases. So there was like, not just for like a single army, but for like a whole game. There was literally like, I mean, it might be 3 years or 6 years or 3 months or 6 months or, you know, even a year from when anything new was published for a game, let alone like new model releases. So while sometimes it can be overwhelming, I think we're spoiled in a lot of ways because we have constantly new rules coming out, new books, expansions, models, etc. So while I like a good, you know, rant fest or complaining session as much as everybody else, we are truly fortunate. And the truth is, if stuff comes out that you don't like or you're not interested in, you and your local gaming group or whatever don't have to play it, don't have to buy it, don't have to change the rules, don't have to do anything differently. Most people are not tournament players. Most people are playing against their same buddies or, you know, same friends or whatever you want to call them, you know, people at their local shop, even if they don't call them friends. But, you know, realistically, you can kind of do your own thing. Most people are not like heavy duty tournament players. We only really hear about like the super meta stuff and like, you know, everything because of the internet and the way that we can broadcast games now and everything. And the truth is, I love all that. I'm glad that we have that now. I love that we can watch, you know, 40K streams or tournament stats go up right away and tell us what the matchups were and how teams did and all the analytics of it. I love all that. So, and I definitely love the mass amount of new models coming out. I definitely enjoy all the different options that we have. Sometimes the rules part can be overwhelming, but that's only just because I don't play that often. So, you know, I kind of pay a little less attention to the rules, focus a little less on the rules, and spend a little more time, you know, with like the hobby painting and building side. When I was younger and I was more into like the competitive aspects of it, I was the opposite. I would only really, you know, build and paint everything up perfectly right before like a big tournament, right before a games day or something like that. As where now, it's the opposite. I spend the majority of my hobby time building, painting, or watching videos, and very little time actually playing. So here we have it. The Ancient Grudge boils over in the Fury of the Deep, our new Age of Sigmar battle box, and we can only speculate, but with the Fury of the Deep, I'm assuming that we will see more of our Fyreslayer dwarves and more of our Idoneth Deepkin salty elves releases in the future as well. So well, there you have it. Let me know what you think. Let me know your opinions on the topics. What do you think of the new models? What do you think of the value? What do you think the prices will be? And you know, overall, just give it a share, like, comment. I appreciate each and every one of you and the support lately. Make sure you check out some of my other videos as we do basically everything from tutorials, commission reveals, reactions, reviews, basically anything Games Workshop you can think of, and potentially some D&D stuff in the future for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and of course Warcry as well. So there you have it, guys. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.